Alright, hi YouTube, VOD watchers, and anyone just joining the stream. I'm technically back with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Gilgamesh adjacent things. Technically. This stream is going to be as... What was I trying to do? What file is this? Because I know I saved over some stuff last time I played, because of the update. Okay, that all looks right so far. Buster Sword. I mean... Okay, yeah, that all seems about right. I am unfortunately here. Welcome to Stream Tips. Yeah, today's stream is going to be somewhat different to the extent that, let me make sure I have all this, uh... Sorry, I'm trying to get as much of this, like, oriented on my end, because I'm still setting some stuff up, so to speak. We actually put it, like, there, I guess, for later, when I do eventually bring it back up. That way I can just scroll. Where is it? That's all he sent. It looks like it's all he sent. Alright, my bad. Get rid of this. So, today's video is going to be going over something, one of the figureheads, if you would, of the community has... I guess if, from my perspective, technically it can be viewed as rediscovering, but, for most people, I don't think it would be a rediscovery. I think it just would be an objectively speaking discovery. So, the guy who made the massive pastebin, the guy who knows the game front to back, back to front, inside and out, forwards and backwards, he dropped a video. It was yesterday, I believe. Where is it? Or does it not say for some reason? There we go. Yeah, actually, 2 days ago. Let me bring up... I forgot how to do everything. Okay, there we go. He made a video, Phantasm, on the 19th of July talking about, Gilgamesh. Not so much talking about, but here's the meat of what inspired this stream. I could have titled this video How to Cancel Gilgamesh's Genji Shield with 100% success rate, but that wouldn't be entirely accurate since I'm actually showing 4 complete rounds. The main objective of this challenge is obviously, hold on. This challenge is not to avoid taking damage. That is a secondary goal, sorry. Readjust my headset. Alright, where was I? Secondary goal. The primary objective is to cancel Gilgamesh's Genji shield in every round, yeah, without using high braver 3, either by staggering him or by the right moment, or by timing a limit break correctly. Previously, I relied mostly on intuition. After fighting Gilgamesh many times, you naturally begin to recognize his attack pattern, so I could usually predict when he was about to use Genji Shield. I lost my place immediately. Sorry. While this approach was often correct, it was never completely reliable, and I needed a method that was 100% consistent. Some players also counted his attacks to estimate when the Genji shield would appear. Although this proved a rough idea, it is not fully reliable method. I would disagree with him on this. However, he's right. It is reliable up until Runax. if we do it the way I've been doing it, but then again, the way I've been doing it isn't wholly reliable in of itself because of the absolutely just stupid. Like, first of all, the restrictions he has on here is no materia, no damage, right? Versus like the 17 or whatever restrictions, I don't even remember at this point that I apply on my I apply onto myself, sorry, every time I play this game whenever I fight Gregor Mesh. So much so that I'm now trying to find ways to implement like literally I invent new tech just to make this fight possible. So even though there's a part of me that would disagree with his statement, where is it? I lost it. It's not fully even though there's a part of me that, at least for like the Muramasa phase, like Naginata into Muramasa, those two phases, there's a part of me that would disagree. The reason why I've been hard stuck on Greg for so long is because of Runax. Because I cannot really consistently find a way to avoid the Runax attacks. And worst of all, for both Runax and Banana Fan, I do not know how to properly be able to put myself in a position where I can cancel him out of Genji Shield to begin with. So yeah, he's right on that front for the most part. I haven't touched the game in like a week and a half. Fortnite has had me in a tight chokehold. Maybe more like 6, 7 restrictions. Sorry. Yeah, you should be on. uh, but right, let's continue on reading this. Because of this, I decided to research how Gilgamesh's weapon drop mechanic actually works. I've already had a general understanding of the mechanic, but I've never explained it in detail. Each of Gilgamesh's weapons has a hidden gauge that fills through the fight. Or throughout, sorry, the fight. This gauge increases in two ways: by successfully parrying his attacks and by dealing damage to him. Once the gauge is full, Gilgamesh immediately drops his current weapon. Filling the gauge through parries only. If you rely exclusively on parries and don't deal any damage to fill the gauge, the weapon will drop after 20 parries, sorry. And I do believe he's right on that. I actually don't remember off the top of my head the amount of parries you need for Greg to make him lose a weapon. I know if you do damage to him, the reason why I know it's usually 10 parries per weapon, like the conclusion somewhere throughout here that Phantasm came up with is I might just keep reading before I okay, yeah, 10 parries. And or the way I would have counted that before, 10 Gilgamesh actions. So if we keep reading, we'll drop after 20 successful parries, at which point you should hit him once, yes. Filling the gauge through damage. If you ignore parries and rely only on damage, you must deal a total of 3,730 damage. This value is exactly 25% of Gilgamesh's maximum health. Once that threshold is reached, he immediately drops his weapon. Note, damage dealt during stagger also contributes to this hidden gauge. Combining both methods, parries and damage both contribute to the to the same hidden not gem. Sorry. Okay, that's brain rot seeping through. Hidden gauge. You can use any combination of the two, as both count towards filling the gauge until Gilgamesh drops his weapons. With all this in mind, we can say that 15,000 damage is equivalent to 10 perfect parries, vice versa. So the estimate I had when I was first like concocting, if you would, how to deal with Gregor Mesh's BS was, I said at the time, I believe optimally, if you want everything to go right, if you want him to cooperate with you, if you want the rest of the fight to go smoothly, it needs to be 10 parries per Gilgamesh, like, or 10 Gilgamesh actions per weapon is the way I described it. Um so he says he does 4 complete bouts. So I guess what I will do here is to watch this video, because obviously what else would I do? I gotta watch this video to try and extrapolate how exactly Phantasm is doing this. Because a lot of the ways I did it before was I would go out of my way to not attack Gilgamesh at a certain point. So that way I did not do too much damage to him. and it would cause me to stagger him before he actually brings up the Genji shield. Or like I forget what the other thing I did was. It's been a minute. But yeah, I'm just gonna watch this. I'm still gonna do what I normally do, which is count his actions, because I still think more rather than counting it through parries, because parries in of themselves I know can get quite inconsistent in the sense that like Gilgamesh, once he gets past a certain number of actions, he does whatever he wants. That's the thing I've noticed from all my fights with him, especially like with the higher restriction brackets and all that stuff. Like you can keep track of all of his parries if you will, right? After he gets like to a certain point, like summoning the Genji shield or something like that, there's no point. Because at that he's literally just gonna do whatever he wants, and there's no real way around it. There's nothing you can do to like prevent him from doing so. So I'm still going to be counting his actions for the most part. On the side here, if it sounds like I'm distracted on the side here, I'm trying to set up my Gilgamesh file properly. Make sure everything is where it should be. Everyone has no HP, right? Yeah. Okay. Shut up. Alright, I had to get a save point if you heard music in the background. Alright then, let me just get this all started and going. One, two, three, four, five. Okay, that's interesting. So I guess he might still be using. I wish he was here. I don't think he is. I wish he was here because I would ask him if if he was still counting his actions. No, I guess yeah, he would still be. He would call them parries, I suppose, but he wouldn't. The philosophy is still the same. We're both still counting basically total Gilgamesh actions. So for him, I guess my this is just me extrapolating. Sorry for stuttering so much. My guess is he would have thought in that moment, after 5 parries, I'm going to go for a high braver, for whatever little bit of damage, right? And my guess is once he does the next 5 parries, or as I would call them, 5 actions, he avoids using high braver to make him either lose Naginata currently or to stagger him. But at this stagger range, it's not looking likely. That's 6 actions. One, or not 6, 7. Oh my god. I hate that meme so much. I wish I never broke containment. I don't know what those high schoolers were doing or why they did it. Mm. Actually, hold on. So that would have been 7 total actions that he did to make him lose Naginata. Now, if I was to count the parries, so from here that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, okay, I see what he's doing. I see exactly what he's doing. Okay, this is actually helping me understand some of my own Gilgamesh runs. So, right here, if I was to count separately, right? Total Gilgamesh actions that have passed is not 10, sorry, 7. Total parries that he have done was 10. On the 10th parry, he does High Braver, and that makes him lose Naginata. So, my guess is because of how it might even be similar damage properties, but that is only technically a single action behind my optimal, at least optimal early game Gilgamesh like Ultima Plus challenge runs. So what I narrowed it down to on my runs is I figured out that On the 8th turn, he always loses Naginata. By that point, my guess is he would have done 10 parries, because something else, I never really processed why, but I knew it was important for him to do pinwheel. And I also factored in dual thrust as well. And my reasoning at the time was believing that it was because of the stagger gauge. Because whenever I would fight Greg optimally, let me just go full screen here so you can see it better. You want his pressure gauge to be like lined up right next to the. Sorry. Let me also. I just realized I have this on a low quality for some reason. Okay, maybe not that high. Oh. Let me chill out for a second. But optimally, what I ended up determining through trial and error from my own findings was you want his pressure gauge, like bare minimum, the back of P right here, you want it to be lined up right here. You want these two to be lined up bare minimum with each other. So that way during the rest of his pressure phase, sorry, you would be able to build up enough pressure to have him to round about right here, I believe. To then set him up, because at that point he would have lost pressure and he would have summoned Muramasa, I think it was. I might be misremembering my fight because it's been so long. I don't remember the exact method to do it, but no, I remember what it was. You want it lined up right here to then have it basically gives you like enough leeway, if you will, to build up the rest of the pressure gauge, and then once his pressure gauge ends, which is usually around the third action he does with Muramasa, he tries to summon the Genji shield. And if you did everything perfectly, the pressure gauge should be like right here. So at least in Cloud, because that's the best example I can draw from, right? You can do like 2 hold attacks with Cloud and it staggers him, or you can just hit him once and it staggers him, making him cancel out of the Genji shield stuff. And I always counted it by the actions rather than the parries, because at that point the way I do the fight and the way I have to do the fight because of the restrictions I put on myself, you realistically making him lose his weapons is like that's something you do after you handle the Genji shield. That's something you only do like after you handle the Genji shield. Hold on. I think I just got a yeah, I did get a ping. Let me check that on my phone. Actually, I just processed something. Hold on. Let me do it like this instead. Okay. Yeah, that's much better. Yeah, alright. Yeah, much better. Just put that on my other monitor. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Alright, where was I? What was I explaining? Oh yeah, the stuff with like, basically, during that Muramasa phase, making him lose Muramasa as an afterthought. At that point, you're more concerned with being at the exact right position to make him lose Genji shield. So just to make sure I have all so it was 10 parries. I hope that, weirdly enough, no offense to Phantasm, if I don't even know if he's watching this right now. I might try pinging him. In fact, I will message him really fast. Yo. Alright, that's been taken care of. Now, sorry, hit the mic. What was I saying? Oh yeah, no offense to Fan. I hope he's wrong in the stuff with the parry specifically, because let me tell you why. I do not want to have to count 2 separate counters in my head every time I fight Greg if I want to go for optimal Gilgamesh runs. Like that sounds horrible. So all right, so that was the 10th parry. I'm on action number 15, and he still has this what like that dude, the headache I would get from doing that. But that's the only reason why I hope parrying isn't as well. I know it's important, but I still hope that with the combination like damage you do against Greg and also parrying him and stuff, I hope that by itself is enough for certain things to happen when you need and where you need them to happen. Because God, I do not like the idea of having to count two counters in my head. But I'm restarting this just to make sure I break Gilgamesh's fight down into 4 primary sequences, at least as far as I can get up until Excalibur. So, one for each weapon, Naginata, Muramasa, Runeaxe, and Banana Fan. So, right now I'm looking at this through the lens of sequence 1, being Gregor Mesh with Naginata. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, that'll... Actually, no, I was about to say, technically that will throw, like, the action count off. Uh, the thing, I don't know why, and I'm not even sure, Phantasm would know why. Minus, like, oh, that's just because, you're still in line to set up for, like, the number of parries or whatever, right? Oh, sorry. Thank you. Thank you, Juju. I see that's a habit I still cannot break. I apologize. Alright, let's try this again. One, two, three, four, five. So he dodges here, like I was trying to say. I don't know if Phantasm himself can explain why it happens. I don't know if anyone can, because there's like 3 people I can think of who would know or have an idea as to why this is with Gilgamesh. But anybody who's done like really stupid Gilgamesh challenges know that whenever you're setting up certain kind of sequencing math, is what I call it anyway. Whenever you're trying to set up certain kind of like counters, and not like in the sense of like, oh, you're countering his attack. I mean like counters as in like numbers are going up. Whenever you're trying to set up like a counter like that in your head, you like I don't know why. I just know that there's at least 1 to 2 actions that of grace, if you would, that Gilgamesh gives you where you can dodge. And normally, like, if I was to put it like this, if I was to use like a task or something, right, which I can't because I'm a console player, if I also find a way to set up like a task to make it to where Gilgamesh doesn't do any unblockable attacks, so in other words, something that's almost truly impossible. Ideally, if you wanted to maintain your Gilgamesh math and your parry chain, you really can't afford to dodge out of the way of Gilgamesh's attacks. You have to go for constant parries, 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 parries. However, like I said, he gives you like 1 at most to 2, if you're really lucky, turns where you can dodge out the way or where he doesn't hit you or like you don't parry him in some way, shape, or form, and you can basically retain your parry combo. I do not know why that is. I really could not. I've tried to really. I've gone so far as to review some of my previous completed like Ultima Challenge runs with Greg and count like the number of actions he does, specifically like the ones where I know for a fact I've dodged at least once or whatever, right? And try to think in my head, all right, how many actions have passed? How many things have happened? How much damage have I done? What weapon was he holding? What stage of the fight was I in? And I can't tell you. I don't know what the cause of it really is. I do not know why he gives you at least 1 action, 1 to 2 actions where he lets you dodge out the way for the most part. I'm not sure why. Like I said, there's the only 2 other people who I think might have an idea. Maybe Doofus, maybe Phantasm. And the only reason why I say maybe is not because like oh nobody knows the fight like I do, is because if I'm not sure about it, I'm not sure if they would be sure about it, if that makes sense. Especially in the sense of Phantasm. Because if there was something in relation to that, I think he would have brought it up. I think Phantasm would have brought it up to me. Because I think we have talked about it not that long ago in DMs. About how Greg here works, but I do not know the reason. I don't know why he gives you that one turn where you can dodge. Um, the reason why Phantasm dodged here is because he was gonna get hit. And if you know anything about Greg and his sequencing math, if you get hit, congratulations, you're at square one. You need to either try and desperately salvage your parry chain, which in most instances that's just not possible, or you just reset the run. And well, if on top of that, if you're doing no damage run, you're just cooked anyway. So he had to dodge. So yeah, that's if it was braver, he wouldn't have had to have dodged there. But this is high braver, so that's action number. What was it again? So he, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You wanna know what's funny? Counting the dash. Let's see what you did there, Juju. It's the turn after this. That was action 8. That was action 8, and he made Gilgamesh lose Naginata. Literally the exact number I came to the conclusion to being the optimal number of actions that Gilgamesh does total in order to make him lose a Genji weapon. And ironically enough, because in total, this was still, that was action 6, but he did 5 parries. That's 6 parries. 6 parries from action 7. I hate this. That was 7, 8, 9, 10. So he specifically, there's a thing with Gilgamesh, you can spam parries for the most part. You still have to time it to some measure, but you can shove way more parries into this. He only went for 4 parries maximum against Greg here, which I think I don't remember what's the most number of like bear parries I've done. Not related to like any unique form of parry, like for example, Red Sentinel stance or what else? What would be another example? His retaliation as well, Cloud's counter stance, things like that. So I'm trying to think about, because for one, obviously, I don't want to just discredit if you would, yeah, discredit would be the right way of saying it. Discredit Phantasm's video here. I don't want to just be like, well, optimally, if you want to make it easier on yourself, you would use my method over his in terms of like how you count Gilgamesh's basically how you keep track of his like gauge in your head, because total actions that passed before he lose Naginata was 8. So from here to here, this right here is the 8th action he did. And during this point in the Cloud run, I would have gotten... Now I think about it, I don't know how many Bravers I would have squeezed in at this point. I forget. There's like a specific number you want to aim for, I've noticed, but I don't remember what it is. I might have taken too long of a break from Greg. Just to make sure I'm not counting this wrong, because I am having to keep track of 2 counters in my head now. This is action 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. So he did 5 parries, 6 actions had passed. 6 parries, You know the number of actions that passed. Action 8 into 7, 8, 9, 10 parries. And then he loses Naginata. At least for the first phase, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how counting his parries would be more efficient than keeping track of his actions. Because there's less of a number you have to count up to. No, say it. No, I won't. This action right here technically doesn't count. Because from what I've gathered, the counter or the gauge only exists as long as he's holding a Genji weapon. Specifically, one he's in a position to lose. So after a certain point, once you reach Swordsman Supreme, guess what? That all that action counting technically doesn't matter at a certain point. At least from my findings, but from that, I mean, I haven't survived in the fight long enough at that point to know if it matters or not. I guess this will be a really good test. This parrying math might actually be more helpful in the sense of like keeping track of the Genji shield, uh, instead of losing a weapon, if that makes sense. But if you were to count overall total Gilgamesh actions, he does 9 actions total here. But this one, the stomp he does, because after he loses Naginata, especially if you were more aggressive, he always does a stomp after the fact. And now he summons Muramasa, so basically, the way I made it easier for myself, in the early days, if you would, when I really started doing the Ultima Plus challenge, I keep counting all the way through, so that, this action right here, I would have counted that as action 10. But instead, if you want to make it easier on yourself and just make it simpler to keep track of in your head, this is action 1 of Muramasa specifically, sorry. And that would be parry 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh yeah, no, that's right. You only get 1 parry to attack. I said that backwards. 1 attack to parry when he's pressured. So, how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. So, he staggered him early there. And I believe I actually... Hold up, he just optimized the run for me. No, he didn't. Sorry. I remember why you don't stagger him like that. At least in the run I do. Because you literally can't hit the damage cap fast enough in order to follow up the later... So, if he had let Gilgamesh keep fighting there, that turn, or the turn after, he would have summoned Genji Shield. And I know that for a fact, because the fight up until this point has literally been the exact same for how I would do it as Cloud. Minus, obviously, High Braver is going to do a lot more damage, period. But, and also he's not as restricted, like, it's just no damage, no materia, where I had, like, no accessories, no... So, well, actually, now I think about it, does Zack have any accessories? I actually don't know. Because you can't look at Zack... No, that's not true. Specifically, if you go to your... If you press square to try and organize your materia before you fight Sephiroth, the first Sephiroth fight you do during the whole boss fight at the end of the game, you can see Zack's equipment and stuff. I've done that only once, and I don't remember what all he has. But in general, I know for a fact, and something else that makes it easier on myself, like if you were to count it in total actions, it would be the 15th action. But you technically don't have to count it because it's separate from... It's like... it's technically a separate gauge from the... Like, the Genji Shield's a separate gauge from the Genji weapons, in a way. Because the way the Genji shield works is like after a certain number of actions after he loses a Genji weapon, he summons the Genji shield, and based off of based off of hold on, let me pull it up. It would be based off of Doofus's findings. If I can find it, I don't even remember what chat that was in. Okay, yeah. Muramasa summoned. Did he talk about where is it where he talks about? Okay, so here it says Muramasa is summoned after 5 sequences, 10 sequences. Genji Shield is summoned after 7 sequences, 14 actions. So if you were counting, if you counted everything total, and something else about the Genji Shield and the Genji weapons, every time, depending on the number of actions that Gilgamesh got in after you staggered him, or after you made him lose, or before, sorry, you made him lose a Genji weapon, the remaining number of actions carry over to the next weapon. So because he staggered, not staggered, sorry, because he made him lose Naginata at 8 actions, Muramasa has to go through 12 actions total before he can summon the next Genji weapon, and this also carries over technically to the Genji shield. And optimally, it's 8 actions as well for Muramasa, so that means a Rune Axe has to go through 14. And in theory, it'd be 8 actions as well for Rune Axe, but I usually average around 10 because that part of the fight gets so just brain dead. But optimally, not optimally, if you had a task with you, it would be a total of 16 actions the banana fan would have to go through before he's able to organically summon or enter his next phase to summon Excalibur, and by extension stave off the next Genji shield summon. So it all lines up in general, is what I'm trying to say. It's a lot to keep track of, but weirdly enough, if you put yourself through the insanity that is this challenge, or any variant of this challenge, it makes perfect sense. But yeah, so he staggered him at the 4th Muramasa action, which would have been technically, if you counted the stomp, the 15th total action. But like I said, that stomp really doesn't count. So it would be technically more like the 14th action. And I know for a fact the Genji shield, like I've done the fight enough times to know. I have more than enough like backing in that regard to know that if he had let Gilgamesh sit there for a little bit, because the pressure gauge was literally right there. Literally right there. This turn, he could have just let him summon the Genji shield, hit him, and then stagger him from there. But I'm just gonna keep watching this. Okay, yeah, no, that would not work for my run. Guess what? Because you would not be able to do this amount of damage. I don't think. How much damage did I even do total? Because you can't, if you get lucky, it's between 6,000 to 8,000 damage. The Infinity's End can still manage to do even that nerfed as Cloud. And then if you squeeze in 2 more rivers, that's 10,000 damage at most, 8,000 at least. That is also ignoring if they all don't roll low. So that was 2,000 and some change, closer to 3,000. 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. Let's play it safe and say like closer to 9,000. Yeah, you're not dealing that much damage. I think it would have capped off here with Infinity's End, and yeah, for a Cloud run, I don't think it'd be. It goes for another one on top of that. Yeah, so I guess using that methodology for Zack specifically, this method, staggering him and then getting him this low, because if you're that low to his second phase period, It doesn't matter really when he tries to summon the Genji shield. He's gonna be so low to a point where you could just hit him, make him lose Naginata. Guess what? No Genji shield. So I guess that it's not even so much that it's not something to factor in. If you're doing a more general normal Gilgamesh run, you probably could use Phantasm's method over mine, but if you're doing more like an Ultima Gilgamesh run, guess what? That it's not going to get you very far. Because that damage is literally impossible with the restrictions I have with Cloud. And there's no way to get two ATB things to try and hit him with the second Infinity's End. And even then, you wouldn't want to, because I think it's around this point in the fight where you want to start managing your ATB to at least have one gauge for the phase transition. Alright, that would have been action... That would have been parry 5 and action 5 with Naginata. And that would have also been the 15th action, like I said. It was either that, the turn before, or this turn where he summons Genji Shield, and look what he did. Now the counter restarts for the most part. This is the phase I'm the most interested to see, because so far, I'll be honest, a lot of this, this first part of the video I've seen is exactly what I expected. Just from my own experience with Gilgamesh. However, this part of the fight I'm really intrigued to see because it's the most inconsistent for me, and I think it all comes down to damage at a certain point. Because your damage becomes so pitifully low with Cloud, and it's so... Zack's dash goes way further than Cloud's does, if I recall correctly, and I think it has more iframes. I could be wrong about that. At least that's what it seems like to me. Because you can get away with so much more with Zack's dash compared to Cloud's. In my own experience from what I've played of both of them. I've played more Cloud than I have of Zack, so I might be wrong on that, but in general, I'm really excited to see how this fight goes, because I guarantee you this bum right here is gonna try and, he's gonna try and, what's the word I'm looking for? Use one of the Runex attacks. And on top of that, because of how he went about staggering him, right? Whenever you stagger Gilgamesh out of you summoning the Genji Shield, it puts him in a weird glitch state where he goes for nothing but stomps. If you were factoring in the first attack he did out of Muramasa, it was a stomp. And the first attack he does with Runex, it was a stomp. So we're gonna see how many attacks he's able to do that are just flat out stomps and not Runex attacks. He also goes for High Braver here. 2. 2 into phase transition. You know what? Really fast, let me look through my stuff. Let me look at my Soldier First Class challenge. Or not Soldier First Class. Is there a search video? Okay, which one would it be? I've got 2 speed runs, see all. Just go for the Ultima one. I don't like having to pull up my own video, but I don't remember how that Runex phase went. Okay, he had it, yeah. And he does go for Upheaval Slam, because of course the fuck he does. Okay, that looked like it would have been the first attack. Yeah, so 1... Okay, yeah, no, hold on. Let me put this back up on stream. So, just to show you a little bit, this is, I wanted to check out some of, some Japanese players' runs, but I didn't get permission. In fact, now I think about it, I don't know why I still had that window up. Oh yeah, because I want to watch in my own time. The only Japanese player I can actually even ask right now would be Endo, but I do not think he's awake. So at this point, this is where Gilgamesh's health is. With just to show you how busted High Braver is. Gilgamesh's health is right here, and all Phantasm has done is use High Bravers for the most part. With my challenge, with the Berserk buff, double stack Berserk buff, his health is barely at the E section by the time I get the first parry against Gilgamesh. I believe that's the second, right? Yeah, so from here, this is where his health is. It's barely past the S point going into E. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Upheaval slam. So that's a 6th action, but that would be 5 parries. 6 parries, 7 actions. I hate everything. 8. That'd be the 8th action. What? 7 parries? Into the stagger. 2 bravers. Okay, at that point I'd be fine because I hit the checkpoint threshold. And technically also the damage cap too, so leading into the phase transition here. At the very start of it. Uppercut, and there goes Runax. So, yeah, it's hard to really... Oh, wrong thing, sorry. Where's his... Yeah, it's hard to really compare the two in that sense. Because, simply put, because of how broken High Braver is, you are in a way more comfortable position to wait for him to try and bring up a Genji shield instead of trying to put him in positions where he can't summon it in the first place. Because every time you make him lose a weapon, I don't know by how much, but I know bare minimum is like 8 or so actions, like after however many like weapon actions he has, where he's able to try and summon the Genji shield. So he did this in 2 rune axe phases, basically, because of how much damage he did during the stagger phase. At that point, parrying literally doesn't matter. If you just do that much damage, I don't care how many parries you have against Gilgamesh. If you put him in the phase transition threshold and do like his health was like here, wasn't it? Before those two? No, it wasn't even that. It was like all the way over here before he brought it down to like here. With just 2 High Bravers, by the way. He tries to summon it. He was already well at half health at that point. 1, 2. No. Could it be the sword of which legend tells? Excalibur! By this holy blade shall your lives be ended! They say you can't hear a picture. Sloppy swordplay. So the phase transition attack doesn't count as an action. This attack does though. So that's technically 3 actions he's gotten with Excalibur. Not Excalibur, sorry. With Runax and 1 with Excalibur. Because I think they work on separate counters. Like, every time he gets a weapon, each weapon has its own individual counter. Okay, that's 4. That'd be 2 for Excalibur here. Moving into 3 for both. Or 3 for... 5, 3. There we go. 6, 4. Right? Because it was 2 to start off with. 3. Yeah. 6, 4. 7, 5. 8, 6. 9, 7, 8, or no, that's 10 actions with Rune Axe, and then 8 with Excalibur. 11, 9, 12, 10. 13, this is getting hard to count. 13, 11. 14, 12. 15. 15 actions. Actually, no, that math lines up, because when did he lose Excalibur? Not Excalibur, the Muramasa? How many actions would that even be? He still has it here, this is action 4. It's fucked up by a lot. 5. Okay, so he loses it at 5 total actions. That means... So... Muramasa had to go through 12 total actions. God damn, that is 7 additional actions onto the Rune Axe. No wonder he seems so... I would have been stressing at that point. But that means that... Yeah, Rune Axe would have had to have gone through 17 total actions before he could attempt to summon Genji Shield. Or summon the next Genji weapon. So, at this point, we're at 3 Rune Axe actions and 1 Excalibur action. 4, 2, 5, 3, 6, 4, 7, 5, 8, 6, 9, 7, 10, 8, 11, 9, 12, 12, 10, 13, 11, 14, 12, 15, 13. And because of how many actions that he dodged out of the way of versus parries, he completed... This is his first completed sequence, by the way. Every time he completes a sequence, whatever, like, if you're relying solely based off, like, maintaining your parry chain, guess what? Whatever, like, actions you thought you had until he summons, what's it called? Genji Shield. That advances by a lot. Because he's in the next sequence where the Genji Shield even is. A lot of what my strategy is preventing him from exiting that sequence in the first place, in order to prevent him from summoning it for as long as possible. And this is Swordsman Supreme, so it doesn't even matter. The count doesn't even matter at this point, because he made it to the point... Trying to count when he's gonna lose a weapon doesn't matter, because he can't lose weapons in Swordsman Supreme. Alright, so I'm gonna stop counting the Rune Axe actions, instead I'm gonna count it by Excalibur actions. So total, it would be... Actually, let me try counting it through actions while he's in this state, so that way I might be able to figure out when he summons Genji Shield. 1, 2. He staggers him here at the second thing. I think I might know what he's doing. He's trying to... Okay, yeah, no. Here he can just flat out kill him at that range. Yeah, 5 Braver. Dead. So it doesn't even matter. Yeah, it's hard to really get information, if you would, from my own run based off this because of High Braver's existence.
Don't think you bested me.
So he does this 4 times, he says. Okay, he does this against, this is gonna be mostly, believe it or not, yes, unexplored territory for me. Because I know bare minimum knowledge, as I refer to it. At least compared to what I should know about him. I do not know as much as I know about Island Gilgamesh, or how should I say this? I know more about Island Gilgamesh, way more, than I do about Virtual Gilgamesh. It's not close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That would be 7 parries, but 6 actions. I said it backwards, so it doesn't count. 8 actions, 7 parries. Or not. No, it's even now, right? Yeah, 7 actions, 7 parries. Okay, now everything's lined up. 8 actions, 8 parries. 9 actions. 10 actions. 11 actions. 12 actions. 13 actions. 14 actions. How many parries was that? Because that was 14 actions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8. 9. Or 9, sorry. 9. 10. 11. Okay, unless I miscounted, I guess it still lines up either way. At around a 10th parry, he loses a Genji shield. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What do you say it was? 10 perfect parries and vice versa. Well, I guess if you land a high braver, that drops the count by a lot, huh? Huh. How many is this? One. Oh, yawning. 2. Second phase. I hate this move. That's 3. And 4. Not long after this, he should lose Runax, but at that point, he's also going to go into Swordsman Supreme. Not even that, he's going straight into Ultimate Illusion. None but I. At this point, there's no making him lose any weapons, right? I'll be surprised if he loses a weapon. Well, with a limit break, he's just gonna lose Genji Shield, period. So technically, that's not canceling Genji Shield per se. That's also Swordsman Supreme right here. So he would have lost Rune Axe there. Let us shed the shackles of reality. Okay. Definitely, I didn't have as much to say there because I do not know this version of Gilgamesh as much as I should. I wonder what he's gonna do from here, though. Greg again. 1, 2, 3 parries. 4, 5 parries. 5, 6 parries. 6. That's 9 parries. And 6 actions. Okay, a lot more parries. I will say, in a lot of my runs, I don't, it's not typical for me to even get him doing 2 focus thrusts like that. Because I was, between the 2 focus, not focus thrusts, what I call it, dual thrusts, yeah. Between the 2 dual thrusts and then also, the pinwheel, that's 6 parries, ignoring the actions. He got probably like 12 different parries, during that whole sequence. Or not. Yeah. One. I gotta mute here really fast so I can eat some of my food. Because it's starting to get cold. Muted the wrong fucking thing, I'm pissed. When I get the opportunity to, that part of the boss getting cut. The part of VOD where I muted the video and not my mic, because I forgot what button it was. We might be reaching a point, though, where I might not have to watch the last round, because it is most likely going to be against a virtual Gilgamesh. And a lot of this stuff, like, I do kind of have an understanding of what I'm looking at now, despite how different it is. Okay, so this is going to be the first one with Banana Fan. Not that it will matter at this point, because he's very close to Swordsman Supreme. Yeah, he's staggering and he's fried. I'm surprised he went that long without summoning Banana Fan. I did kind of lose count of, like, the total actions and stuff, but still. Oh yeah, that's why Swordsman Supreme. I was like, he didn't go for High Braver. Oh no, he does. You know, sometimes I forget another thing that makes High Braver so busted is the fact that it only takes 1 ATB to use it. That's something I do forget. That's a really stupid quality about High Braver. At that point, he might as well be a Death's Doorstep. It doesn't matter counting from here on out. Kills him there. It's probably... yeah. So I think I've seen a lot of what I need to see from that. That was very insightful. They gave me a really good idea of, like, alternative ways I can view this challenge, and also I can now properly give a variety of other methods in relation to counting methods for Gilgamesh's stuff. But now it's time for me to review Juju's run of Gregormesh really fast. Before I continue on with that, oh yes, unlisted. Let me go full screen for this. Where is everything where I need it? There. Okay, so here we have a run from Juju. It's unlisted. 11 minutes, so let's see what we have here. Why is this muted? That was not my computer. Okay, he's playing a Sephiroth. So, one thing I know for a fact about in relation to Sephiroth versus how other characters play against Gilgamesh. Yeah, no, I guess I can't start off like that. Gilgamesh doesn't register Sephiroth's parries as parries. He registers them seemingly as dodges, because the way he works is he has two separate tracks for how you can approach his fight. Parrying and then dodging. If you dodge most of his attacks, if you dodge 2 attacks, I think it is. No, if he does 3 actions, so if you dodge 3 actions, 1 stomp and then 2 actions with, what's it called? Naginata, he'll go into his next sequence. And then he'll do, I think it's 2 stomps after that, and 4 actions with Muramasa, 3 stomps, 5 actions with Runax, and so on and so forth, right? So this is going to be interesting for me to see how Juju plays around that, because the regular Gilgamesh sequencing math, yeah, Sephiroth is completely different. I read that wrong. Sorry. Sephiroth is completely different fight because playing for 3 Octaslashes basically. Yeah. So oh wait, hold on. What version of Gilgamesh is this even? Okay, so I might not be able to provide as much the commentary, but I can still provide some. So the philosophy should still apply. Albeit, no, he should still go to his next action after 3 or so things. Or sequence, I mean. That's 1, 2, 3. He should jump. No, 4, okay. 5, 6. Wait, no, that's the 6th one. The 7. 8. 9. This is technically an action. As weird as that sounds, if Gilgamesh isn't in a position where he can dash towards you or run or shoot you with a projectile or something like that, right? He'll run towards you. And from my testing, from my experience, this unironically is an action. So this is 10 actions that have passed. Should be virtual like round 4 of Rulers of the Outer World. Alright. 11.
No holding back.
Okay, what was that? Gilgamesh beam? So that's 12 technically you would have gone for. Stagger, Genji shield. Gilgamesh pose. I guess I'm gonna start a new counter here. Well, no, I can't, because he can't summon it. He doesn't have Genji shield, so there's no point in counting. There's nothing to count to there, because this is gone.
How rude.
How rude!
Incoming. Are you?
This, no parry. I see what you're doing here. You're not playing for parries. You're playing for... You're playing truly how Gilgamesh even himself on a technical basis views the fight. You're... When you can, it seems like you're avoiding parries and going for dodges primarily, obviously to build the limit gauge here. But it's just weird for me to see a fight like this with Greg, because I'm used to playing it a certain kind of way, and I've played it that way for so long. And whenever I see a playstyle like this, I know exactly what's happening, but it's still like jarring to see. What happened there? I don't think I've ever seen that before. Oh, was that you staggering him out of Firefly Ward when he was trying to do Whirlpool? I didn't even know you could use ranged attacks like that to get him out of it. But then again, it's Sephiroth, so I shouldn't be surprised. Completely shameless shift slash abuse.
This time 'tis but a look. Dynamite tank.
That's some insane wave dashing, by the way. Look at this. Look at this. Boom, boom. Let's count how many that was in like 5 microseconds. That was like 5 wave dashes you just did. So fast that you could still see his his last 3 after images. Look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You could still see like the places he was in. That of itself is impressive for but forgetting like the way you chose to fight him. Not sure why, but the Zangshin cancels ward. Okay.
Grant me strength.
Grant me strength.
Blood.
Phantasmal field. AKA technically one of the most useless Gilgamesh attacks. What even happened here?
Blood.
Hold on. What's the button, like, to go frame by frame again? Because I'm trying to see what button prompt came up here. Unironically, I'll be able to tell exactly what you were trying to do here, if I could go frame by frame. I just saw it. Saw it again. Yeah, I think my PS5 controller doesn't like me because it started getting harder to do, and sometimes he wouldn't actually slash, which messes up. Oh, is that what this was here? Yeah, retaliation I saw you try to do. So, no. Retaliation.
Blood.
Yeah, okay, I can't tell. Were you trying to do something specific here, Juju? I think here. Sorry, I was looking at Discord for a second. I think here I remembered the shift slash. I might have tried it. Tried to parry it, but I can't remember. I think it was Swift slash. Sorry. I mean, I'm not sure what else you would do here, because the only other thing I think you would have tried to do is, like you said, parry, but based off of Sephiroth's animation, I wish I could go frame by frame. I don't remember what the key is for it. Oh yeah, hold on. So, yeah, you went, it looks like you went to the block frame here. Hold on. It's going back 5 seconds. I needed to go back, like, 5 microseconds. That's not working. I don't want to just start pressing keys. I don't even know what just happened. What'd I just do? I'm gonna stop pressing buttons. I think I can get the frame. I think I can get the frame. Sure enough, thank you. Thank you, that's exactly what I needed. Am I going forward or backwards?
Blood. You're done for.
Backwards. Yeah, you try going into the block animation. It's exactly like you said, you tried parrying that, and it didn't work. One, two, three. That's retaliation. Okay, yeah. I think you tried going for an extra one there and it didn't work out.
Incoming.
Enough of this. Before my eyes.
It's the second Octa Slash you've landed. You know, sometimes I forget how much damage Hell's Gate does.
None
Have mastered this martial art. None but I. It's funny because of how the animation for Sephiroth's parry works. Sephiroth and Gilgamesh just phase through each other.
behold. How humiliating.
Okay, yeah, I see exactly what you were going for there.
Let's hurry.
I guess while you were doing this, you quickly learned. I wouldn't be surprised if you were trying to use some of my like sequencing math and stuff for the Gilgamesh fight. But wouldn't be surprised if like while you were attempting this, you figured out it's like, oh wow, that doesn't work with Sephiroth, like for whatever reason. So you just played primarily for like dodges and stuff. You do parry that though. Oh, so this one you're going for parries, I see. So that's 3. Or are you? Another Octa Slash. Ting, 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 ting. How rude! Funny thing is, I think Sephiroth could parry that. I don't remember exact. I know his parry can literally just parry everything. I think you'll see later, sometimes parries just don't follow him, so he'll just miss, which is annoying because you gain tons of limit from landing parries. That was slick. This escape here, you probably, that unironically, that might have been the frame you could have possibly escaped him there. Hold on. Because you go for what? Yeah, you go for retaliation here. Nah, I've tried. He goes for retaliation. And right as it comes out, I think, hold on, so Excalibur, he starts bringing it down right there. His hand goes up properly for it right here. And literally like two frames before it comes out, you're like, oh god, I need to get out of here. And dash straight out. That's impressive. Nice parry. On that too as well. Spill forth! Okay, I went straight through that. Actually, no, that's just because of how that attack works. The lingering hitbox on it's stupid. Grant me strength.
Get back.
Okay, yeah, it gets rid of it. That's a funny interaction. I wonder if anyone else has that interaction. Because, if it was just Sephiroth, that would make sense, because there's literally no way in the base game for Sephiroth and Gilgamesh to fight like that. Not in any way for him to trigger, unless it's like a leftover, like, developer thing. Like, they were trying to play around with having Sephiroth be, like, a exclusive character to, like, Chadley challenges and stuff. But I don't know. I wonder if anyone else has something like that. Maybe characters like a Barret and Yuffie. Ketchi, possibly as well. He might have an HP threshold on the ward, I don't know. Could be, yeah.
Watch and learn.
I don't know. It's either most of the time I don't let him hold Banana Fan long enough for me to find out, or I kill him too fast. Rarely am I ever in a position where I can see that attack in the first place. Because out of all of his Banana Fan's attacks, even when it's just the Banana Fan, it's the rarest one he can use. It's also the first ATB I used on him. Actually, yeah, you're right. You haven't done anything other than this one here.
I shan't go down now that all is in order.
The fun can begin.
None
Have mastered this martial art. None but I.
Behold the exquisite craftsmanship. I'll rend your flesh and shatter your bones.
I've got this.
The funny thing is, I can tell that this is like maybe like a handful of attempts after the first one here, because you're way better about staying close to Gilgamesh, avoiding damage, but also being able to fill up the limit gauge with I forget the name of the attack, the busted one.
Behold!
Behold.
I know that doesn't narrow it down much for not Gilgamesh, Sephiroth, but you know what I mean.
How humiliating.
This won't be the last.
Saying teen Sephiroth and adult Sephiroth proportions is horrible. That's what I figured out. Oh, and this is you going, what happened to Cloud? What happened to Cloud? What is this? Dude! These are cool skins for Zack, though. Alright, you had 5 material slots open. Funny. What happened to Aerith? Anyway. Muramasa, because that's the only weapon. Cetron Bracer Genji earrings makes sense. Obviously. Bahamut. Now, I'm actually shocked, but is there any reason in particular you chose Bahamut rather than anyone else? Unique ability for the attack bonus, because that's all it's good for. Empowerment. Oh, just all auto unique abilities, I see. Sometimes my game does that, I don't know. Fair enough.
Tis a fake! Or is it? I hold in my hand a fake?
Increases the damage. I might have just been left over. I'm surprised you didn't also throw magic and strength up on there as well. Maybe even enemy skill, just for the percentage boosts and stuff.
I'll step on your eye core.
That was a nice parry here.
I'll step on your eye core.
Actually, can
I'll step on your eye
Ye-
core.
did you just cancel the animation for the bravery cast with the parry animation?
I'll step on your
Or does the animation end that fast?
eye core.
Either way, considering how tight the window would have been for you to parry that in general, that is very impressive. Retaliation. I just saw what you had in the. That's cool. I like that. I like that. They need to add that after Ever Crisis shuts down, so that way somebody. Because I think I'm gonna talk about a little since you're wearing the Ever Crisis outfit and stuff. It's the animation. It's really a tragedy what Ever Crisis was. What I always knew it to be, what everyone knew it to be, but no one said anything. Ever Crisis was the biggest advertisement campaign for a game I've seen in a long time. Ever Crisis was the biggest advertisement campaign for Revelation that it probably ever could have been. It was doing it pretending to be something else. And it's a tragedy there's gonna be so much lost media in relation to it. Because I did enjoy my time with the game. I'm not gonna pretend like I played it all the time. Like, I definitely played it for like a lot of the bigger events and stuff. I didn't do the Dirge of Cerberus event because I hate that game. But I played like the Nier Automata crossover that they did. At a certain point I need to dedicate a stream on, ironically, to beating because I still haven't done that. I need to go through all the story stuff in it properly and just experience that while I still can, and just so I have footage of that on my channel and stuff for archival purposes, because even if nobody watches them, it'll be nice to go back and look at it on my own time. But there's so much cool stuff in Ever Crisis, and some of the cooler stuff I think is like a lot of the character portraits. So, in my opinion anyway, some of the best art that we've gotten for a lot of these characters. And just to know it's all gonna be gone in a few months from now is really a shame. Anyway, let's keep watching this. Yeah, you guys just phase straight through each other on that. How rude!
Hold still.
Incoming!
Sorry, I just realized you also left a message here. This is part of the bigger challenge, so I didn't use... Oh, this is part of a bigger challenge, so I didn't use enemy skill okay, I see. I see. That makes sense.
Grant me strength.
Ding.
I've got this.
Feel the wind howl! Ow.
Fool.
I forgot he can do that. Not gonna lie, Juju, you did cut it close on this attempt compared to the last one.
Quickly.
Being, where's my mouse? There it is. Being this low on health.
Yes.
2 Hell's Gates with a retaliation on top of that. Or face your fate! None have mastered this martial art. None but I. You hear that? None have mastered that martial art. None but him.
Don't think you bested me.
Alright, I'm curious about what this last one's gonna be. 4th run, no damage, audio desynced. Damn. Oh, it's horrible. Oh, I'd be pissed. So this is the one you got no damage on, and of course it's the one you get an audio desynced on. But brother, I would be livid. I would be livid. Every time I see Sephiroth's teleporty BS in this game, it just makes me want to play Noctis in 15. I really need to go back and finish off a lot of stuff I have left to do in Final Fantasy 15, man. I love that game. I love it so much. I love it because of all of its flaws, weirdly enough. It has a lot of issues. That makes me love it more. Because I see the potential in it, and it's a shame that Square Enix abandoned it the way they did. A lot of the game's failure came from outside of the game, I would say, because they were trying to push so hard with that Square Enix engine thing that they were trying to do that failed biblically. that the absolutely horrific failure of that engine that took 15 down with it really is a shame. Oh, I am, yeah. I bet. I mean, like I said, I'd be legitimately fuming. Yeah, I think in this attempt, just from the little bit I've seen, you really figured out like the happy medium of where to dodge, what sweet spots Gilgamesh has around him to where certain attacks are, as a concept, are null and void and all that stuff. And just in general being really good about sticking close to him to build up the limit gauge with Sephiroth.
Enough of this.
Is that your best? Incoming!
How rude!
Are you?
I'll rend your flesh.
And shatter your
I've
bones.
got this.
Man, this one, all this should be is just a Gilgamesh soundboard. He's just saying stuff and it's over this video. Oh yeah, the wheel above my head turns. Yeah, I was about to say. After the 4th turn, you now become immune to Gilgamesh's attack. Grant me strength.
Yes.
Don't get a nice thing. You'll be blown away.
You'll be blown away. Behold!
This is how a legend fights.
This is how a legend fights.
No holding back.
He's fried.
Woe is me.
Watch and learn.
Oh, for a second I was about to question why you didn't go for the follow-up with Octoslash, but you're building your limit gauge, that's why. In order, the fun can begin. None have mastered this martial art. None but I. The Gilgamesh brain rot is horrific. That last one was definitely your cleanest run though. It's a shame about the audio. That was genuinely really clean. You found the perfect middle
Let's
ground to stay around Gilgamesh without getting hit. Really massive shame about the audio. The only thing I could try to recommend for you to do is put both the things of footage in the same audio or same track, right? And just shift the audio as best over as you can to match up with what's happening on the screen. Actually, what build were you using? I see a bunch of blue materia, which you never see in this game. The fact that there's any more than 4 blue materia, I don't think I've ever seen anyone do that. Alright, auto unique ability. Bahamut. I don't remember, did you ever explain why you specifically use Bahamut? I was just thinking of that. Yeah, that's what I recommend you do. Just try to put, like, the same video on 2 separate tracks in an editor. Shift, whatever is going to be the audio over to match whatever is going to be the video. That's the best thing I could recommend you do. I might look back up through the chat to see if you ever said why you use Bahamut, because doesn't Odin or Gilgamesh have a higher attack stat than Bahamut? Like I said, I don't remember if you ever specified why you use Bahamut. Autocast. Oh, magic up, that's why. I forgot it did that. And then empowerment, yeah. Okay. Alright. Love getting recommended random videos. Bahamut either because he increases magic damage for Zenith, or he was just leftover, I see. Now think about it, how does YouTube organize recommendations again? Never mind, I just asked an impossible question. Don't answer that, because you can't answer it. Alright, so far that's all the stuff I wanted to react to. I did get a lot of information from Phantasms' video after analyzing it, watching through it and stuff. Definitely some stuff I'm gonna try to apply to my own runs. Definitely. Gonna be hard to, though. Because... Actually, that does remind me. Wouldn't you like to know, Weather Boy, exactly? I'm gonna try something. What is it I'm looking for? Did I get rid of finishing No, I didn't reset my folios, that's right. I changed my outfits, I didn't reset my folios. Definitely recommend having Cloud learn Swift Slash. That would be a thought, right? The more he gets intertwined with Sephiroth's brain-melting BS, he just starts fighting like him more and more. And then Tifa and the others just have to sit there and watch until he ends up in a wheelchair. I was about to say, I'm sorry, is that chest not obtained? I don't even remember the last time I did a story playthrough of this game. I'm gonna have to do one soon, though. Because when did they say part 3 is coming out? Late next year, was it? Or was it early next year? I don't remember. What do I have on what? That's not the right thing. Okay, that's there. Spring 2027, okay. Focus thrust, that stays. This stays here. I need this to be Infinity's End. What?
What you got?
Dumb as a brick. I would guess March. I would guess April, actually. They're either going to do it in February or April, and I couldn't tell you why. 4. I forgot how that worked. Nose is running, I hate it. 1, 2. Oh, that's right, I remember what I did. 3. 4. Dumb. Timed it wrong. Gotta head out. See ya. Alright. See you later, Juju. Great runs that unfortunately had the audio desynced on. I look forward to any future Gregor mesh runs you do, right? And just any runs in general. Have a good one, man. Thanks for stopping by. Alright. Oh my god, that's gotta be such a hard habit to break. 1. I'm trying to test to see. 2. 3. What damage does this do? Ooh. 900.
Game over, huh?
Ooh. I was hoping. Maybe that just rolled low? I didn't even see how much that did.
Some hero you...
Ah, we might have a problem. Because one thing I did want to test before ending stream at the very least was why'd I do that? How weak Counter-Strike was. 2. 5. That is really... yeah, that is really weak. That is not worth looking into. That is not at all worth looking into. Not compared to Braver. Actually, what did I have it on? Infinity's End, yeah. Is this audio good? Now I think about it. Might be too loud, actually. Nose is running, man. I don't know why. 1. 2. Why is Aerith still alive? Oh, I just realized Force of Habit. 2. I'm sorry, what? Oh, my... Also, I just realized I had the wrong people up. No, it was Yuffie and Ketchi I used, that's right. And then... I don't know if playing the frog minigame was that worth it. I mean, it technically is, because I have an enfeeblement ring for everybody, but at the same time, you know? Sometimes I still, even if I slightly think about that minigame, sometimes I still hear that godforsaken soundtrack. And it's getting louder in my head as I speak, I hate it. 3. 4. I was pressing beyond the wrong button, Jesus. 1, 2, 4. Oh, parry too early. I wasn't paying attention.
Would end like this.
7, 8, 9, 10. Actually, I should wait. And prepare to be stupefied by my swordsmanship. 2, 3, 4. I would have been furious. Well, that's unfortunate. I forgot what was tied to what. Oh my god, I'm fumbling so bad. I have my bindings in all the wrong places. And not even wrong places, I had them bound in my head incorrectly. Yeah, no, I... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Doesn't count though. And prepare to be stupefied. 1, 2. Of course, he's doing as far off as he's possible. 3, 4, 5.
So let's do this. Now you're ready for it.
Yeah. 7,000 is not bad. Almost did it again. I did not deserve that. One, 2, 3, of course. 4, 5. No, that's 4. 6. I might be fried here, fellas. This might be GG. That's the first time I've dodged Brutal Swing like that. Well, of course you roll well. Wasn't able to get it. God. Wow. 2. Oh.
Some hero you.
I'm not gonna put too many attempts into this. It's just since I'm here. And I wanted, the most important thing I wanted to test out was see how much damage Counter Sense did, and it does nothing. That's what I discovered. Okay, actually, you know what? Yeah, but if I might regret it, let's just see what happens. Because I have this bound like this for a specific reason. And that reason is, just in case I do get to the final phase, there it is. And I'm not able to do enough damage, I don't want to get put in a position where, guess what, he can just kill me because I wasn't able to kill him before he does Ultimate Illusion. Abysmal RNG. 10. Well, this 10 turns with, what's it called? I would have been furious. Squeeze that in. It's like 7, right? Up against the wall. 6, 7. Didn't do it soon enough, you absolute moron, Cloud. And I don't remember how to do the animation castle thing that doesn't make him jump. Hate that damn axe, man. Why? Alright, let's see if I can get out of this, or am I fried? Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. Why do I keep missing that? One, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 5 gravers, 8. What are you doing? Cloud! Damn it. 1, 2. Actually, that was... Why did you chase Cloud? Oh, now I remember what I was trying to do there. I must move forward. In fact, I might have a resetting anyway. That's not good. Never mind, maybe. Of course. 2, 3, 4. Wow, that crit. Lowest crit it could have possibly hit. 6, 7. Counting like that, Jesus. I swear. Love this. I love that so much. Worst possible combination of things you could have ever done. All of a sudden I remember why I don't like this challenge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What? Bit early. off there. Of course, it rolls low. And that rolled mid as well. I missed the parry. That's the most rune. Actually, hold on. Maybe I don't need to do anything different. Because that's the most consistently I've ever dodged any of his rune axe attacks. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. Trash run already. 9. Wow, that crit. That didn't. Those 8 actions, unfortunately. Of course, he starts dashing far. 4. 5. 6. I actually ruined that for myself. I would have been fine. I panicked because it looked like his hitbox started moving backwards as well. I'm probably gonna do it like a handful, maybe 3 at most more attempts, and I'm gonna call it for the stream. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow, rolled low as possible. Well, not quite low as possible, but still, you don't deserve to roll that low in the first place.
Figures who would hit like that.
2 more attempts, I guess, especially after that. Feast your eyes and prepare to be stupefied by my swordsmanship. Nice Genji shield.
You're done. Now you're in for it.
Well, I'm not gonna be able to get that other Braver off, I don't think. Yeah, no. Please.
So much for being a mercenary.
I almost want to stop after that. That was disgusting. Matter of fact, I am. I hate you. I forgot how much I hated you. But yeah, that's about everything I wanted to look at this stream. Thank you, Phantasm, for allowing me to watch your video and going over it and reviewing it and all that stuff and adding my thoughts to it as well. Thank you to Juju for letting me review his runs, even though admittedly I did not have much to add because it was a version of Gilgamesh I'm not as experienced in. But still, I think I'd have more knowledge to impart, if you would, compared to most others in my bracket, if you would, right? Maybe one day I will be able to beat Gregor Mesh with these restrictions, sorry. Maybe not at this point. Who knows? We'll see, but either way, if you enjoyed the video, please be sure— not video, sorry. I did 6 videos today, that's why I said that. If you enjoyed the stream, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and remember to always stay anonymous.